Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to sew a perfect front neckline placket in just under 5 minutes. As you guys can see, it's super neat, it's super perfect, and most importantly, it's super easy. So let's get started. Okay guys, for us to begin, we will need our front neckline, and as you guys can see, I have marked my center front. Our next piece is this rectangle that the measurement for me is 34 centimeters and the width is 7 centimeters plus 2 centimeters for the seam allowance. So in total, that's 9 centimeters. As you guys can see, I have also folded my seam allowance and gave it a really good press. For the fabrics, if your fabric is too loose and when you're going to fold it and it's not having that strength, I recommend you guys put in some fusing. But this is my second tutorial for this video, and for me, I tried the first one with some fusing and it went really stiff. So this is my first sample. And as you can see in the movement, if you have this on your neck, it's not going to be so comfortable. It's just going to be really like stiff around, or it's going to drop down because it's super heavy. So on this one, I am not using fusing. I'm just going to press down my seam allowance once again because it's been a few seconds and I just want everything to stay in place. Now I'm going to fold this rectangle, the right sides together, and I'm going to fold it again. The reason why I'm doing this, because I really want to find the center. So I'm just going to press it with my hand because I can easily just mark it like this. And as you guys can see, this is my center. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold the top and bring it into the center. And I'm going to mark where the sharp angle sits. So this is where it's going to sit, and I'm just going to mark. The reason I'm doing this is because now we want to sew from our center down to where we just marked, and then we're going to go up again. So this would be like double stitch and everything would be secured in place. So I've just got my sewing machine and I'm going to sew this line and get back to you guys. Remember, from the center to the pointed, and then once again we go back to our center. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have sewn this area and double stitched it for it to be super secured and it's not going to open. The distance from where we marked to the end, this is what your opening neckline is going to be. Let me explain it better. So the distance between your marked place, like the end of your stitch, till the end of this rectangle is the exact same as your opening. So you want to measure how much opening on the neckline you would prefer. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and bring out the seam, the angle that we just created, and put 2 layers of the fabrics onto each other from the wrong sides and bring out the right sides. And now I just want to put my scissors through this part to bring out the corner and have a really neat corner. So this is what we're going to have right now. It looks like a folded strap, a folded double strap. And okay, so this part, you need to pay attention to this part because this is the main part that I'm going to try and explain it as good as possible. So what we want to do now here, from the front side, we're going to put our 2 thumbs into this area and just fold and press it down and create that triangle. I will explain this again, or I will show this again. So we're going to put, it looks like a little hood, like a Red Riding Hood. It's super easy. As soon as you put your two thumbs in between, it will automatically fold and create that shape. So I'm going to show you guys once again. From this area, go into the corner and press this down. Here we want to make sure the seam allowances are onto each other and perfectly matching, and then I'm going to give it a really good press. At the top area, don't worry where the triangle is. These seams don't have to sit on each other because this is where we're going to sew it. I'm going to show it in the next part. Just make sure you're pressing the seam allowances at the bottom and giving it a good shape. This is what we're going to work with, and this is our final look for the little placket, and now we want to attach it to the original garment. As I explained before, this distance is going to be our neck opening. So what we're going to do, I'm going to measure mine. Mine is 13.5 centimeters. So from the area that I just marked and pressed at my center front, I'm going to come down 13.5 centimeters and mark the area where I need my opening to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to place our placket the right side. This is how it's going to finish. And I'm going to fold it back and bring it down because we want to see the little triangle at the bottom. Remember when I said you don't have to line up this area, because I'm going to sew this part and you can get to the corners as much as possible as you guys can. So I'm going to sew this area to my original and get back to you guys. Okay, so now you can see where I've just sewn. I got to the corners as much as possible. This really helps. This is really, really important, guys, to be able to stitch right at the corners. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open our line, the opening of the neckline. I'm going to come down until maybe like 1 inch, 1.5 inch before you get to the placket. You want to stop and cut the triangle that we always go to the corners. And here also you want to get to much close as the stitch, but just be careful not to cut through your stitch. So I'm going to cut my triangle. Going to bring the front and put it through our placket. Like, how easy is this? This is incredible. Just make sure that you put your fabric right to the center because that's how it should be. So make sure it's touching the fold of the placket, because if you bring it out, we will have a bit of extra fabric at the front. So we want everything to be super smooth, super neat. So make sure that you're putting your original fabric right into the center of our placket, and this is where we have fixed everything in place. So we're going to stitch around this area, but one thing we're going to do before we stitch is this little triangle at the back. You're going to fold it and put it inside our placket so you cannot see it. And now I'm going to sew all the way around my placket and do a top stitch. And here we have our final placket, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This is one of my favorite ways to attach a placket on the neckline because it's super fast, it's super easy, and it's super, super neat. So here I'm just going to compare the both plackets that I created, one with fusing and one without. So as you guys can see, this one is what we just created now together, and you can see it's more comfortable, it's more a bit softer. It's not too soft, it's not too stiff. I think it's perfect. Well, the one that I created for my Instagram tutorial, I fused it and I realized it's really stiff because it's already going to be too layered. So I do recommend you guys to do a little test on your fabrics once you can fold them and see if it's okay. You think it doesn't need the fusing, you don't have to do the fusing. But if you think that it's too flimsy, it's too like light, give it a bit of help and make sure to fuse it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until my next one, see you guys soon.